gotta go fast.
There's this thing people think that like, I'll be happy when. Once I get like this big, amazing home, or once I get this car, or once I get this relationship, or an amount of money, then I'll allow myself some happiness. Problem is, the finish line always moves. You never arrive there. The other part is people think, well, if I enjoy myself now, I'm gonna lose my drive. In other words, if I can just wire myself with enough pain all the time, I won't lose my drive or ambition. The truth is there's no correlation between the two at all. There's no relationship between you feeling complete pain all the time and losing drive. For me, our brains, there's dopamine hit you get when you do something successful. If you constantly cheat yourself out of that hit, right, biomechanically in your body, less and less in the future will you want to achieve the next level, the next dream, the next step. And that's why so many people stall out in life. They got to a certain point and they cheated themselves out of the bliss, out of the celebration. It's important that we celebrate our wins, we celebrate our lives, because it causes us to want the next bite. It keeps us hungrier, not the reverse. The minute you begin to get external in your life, worrying about what other people think about you, right? You've lost all control and it never fills you up. And people's admiration, people's gratitude towards you will never fill you up. You're gonna get out of your life what you'll accept. That's really difficult for people, I think, to understand is, look, what you think you're worth and what you're gonna tolerate is absolutely what you're gonna bring into your life and what the outward part of your life's gonna look like. And so I live by that. Like, I let myself sort of feel the pain and the difficulty of being not where I wanna be in whatever that area is, whether it's my spirituality, my relationships, my money. I let myself feel that pain. Because as you know, there's two motivators, right? There's the gaining of pleasure, right? Wanting to go get something, chasing the dream. But then there's the avoidance of pain. And for a lot of champions, that's a pretty big driving force for them. And so at least for me, I leverage both of those things on me to get myself to take action.
The reason people change is because of pain. The reason we grow is because we get uncomfortable and we embrace being uncomfortable. But being honest with the pain that we feel is usually the prime mover for people to do the work that is necessary to push to the edge.
Embrace the pain that you're gonna feel when you're trying to do something great. You have to understand, you have to know that with greatness comes pain.
Stop listening to the opinions of others around us that are saying, oh, you're never gonna make it, it's impossible. You can't do it. You will never make it.
Acknowledging our suffering, being in touch with the pain, that's enough to say, I can't do this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is not the person I want to become.
Like, I used to sit there and look at my class and my teachers and I'm like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show all of you. You think I suck? I'm gonna be the biggest, best person on earth.
You need to immerse yourself in school. You need to go in deep. All you're doing every single day is studying.
You're gonna get distracted from your goals. And all these things, arrows are gonna come at you all the time. Whatever your goal is, you have to get there. Even though people are gonna say you can't do it, even though people are gonna throw different opportunities, you know, I'm sure your friends went out a million times to happy hour when you had to stay late.
Find out what it is you want and go after it as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does.
Thoughts become things. Whatever you put out into the universe, you are going to get back.
You have an opportunity to still be achieving. So get up and get on it. Because the weak will struggle. Success is reserved for those that are the strongest.
But you still got time to pass that class. You still got time to finish strong, all right?
Repeat after me. Education equals opportunity. One more time. Education equals opportunity.
School is like a privilege. Learning is a privilege. Getting your education is a privilege. Not a lot of people have that, surprisingly. I know the people in your city and in your school all have that, and it may seem normal to you at times, but it's not. You know, people wish to have education. People wish they can go to school and learn and grow as an individual. You know, it's not about just one math test that you have tomorrow. It's not about one grade. It's that if you do good on this one test, you're gonna do good on another test, and then another test, and you're gonna get an A, and that's gonna raise your GPA, and your GPA is what's gonna decide what college you're gonna get into, and then what your job will be. Like, it all adds up. You know, always try your best. Don't look at it as just a test. Don't look at it as just a class, a grade. Because anything that you want in life, you know, you're gonna have to work for. Nothing is gonna be given to you.
See, most people only ever focus on problems. All right, it's the world we live in today. We live in a world of media-fueled problems, right? You can't turn on the news without seeing problems, disasters, all the bad in this world. Now, most people focus on their problems and make them bigger than what they actually are. All right, this is where people are going wrong. If something bad happens and you make that problem even bigger and tell yourselves things like, this is always happening to me, this is never gonna get better, this is a big problem. Train your mind. Train your mind not to focus on the problem and make it bigger, but focus on the solution to solve it. Stay positive, stay focused, and most importantly, stay strong.
You know, I used to actually do my homework on a Friday, so I would enjoy the weekend. Mostly people do it on Sundays when they have to do it, but I like to just get it over with. It's so much better knowing you're done and you can have free time and you can do whatever you want than have that on your mind while having the free time. You know what I mean? It's just so much better to get it done. You'll feel so good. Start off good. Do your homework. Do the best you can do on every single test.
I know I can. I know I can. Be what I want to be. Be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I know I can. Be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be.
Hard work pays off. You know, the classes I used to slack on and I didn't do that great in, it showed. In the classes I worked really hard on and I tried my best, it showed. You know, it made me realize that hard work really does pay off in the end. Your results might not show and you might feel like you're failing. You might feel like you're not getting anywhere and that you won't do good, but just as long as you try your best, just as long as you give it 100%, start off strong and finish even stronger. You got this, my friend.
You know, I was a high school star. I just thought I was on to do great things. You know, I was a typical kid. You know, we all stood up in front of class in the 3rd grade and 4th grade and said what we were going to be when we grew up. You know, I was no different than any other student. Everybody in the world did that, right? It was like an exercise we all did. So my message was, I'm going to play pro sports, and when I'm done playing pro sports, I'm going to make more money in business than I did in sports. And everything was going along fine until when I got to college, I found myself sitting on the bench. A high school stud basically becoming a scrub sitting on the bench. And I'll never forget, all of a sudden I recalibrated my dreams and goals, and my father called me on the phone. This was a turning point. He asked me a question that really changed my life. He said, son, you don't play, why not? When I gave him what I thought was my truth, I gave him what I thought was my reality, only to find out now it was an excuse. I said, Dad, politics. Dad, it's political. My father said, what? He said, son, if you can help that coach win, you will play. Go back and do what you said you're gonna do. And all of a sudden, I got reconnected to that little kid on the inside of me that had dreams and goals of getting to that next level. I went to my coach and I said, Coach, what do I need to do to play in the NBA? See, in many cases, sometimes we get stuck, we get stagnant, and we lose that fire and that passion because we forgot our vision. We forgot our goals. We forgot our dreams. And all of a sudden, reality takes over. All of a sudden, circumstances take over. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on a mission to make sure that everybody in this world knows that that next level is waiting for you. You can become that person you wanted to be when you were 10 or 11 and 12. You don't have to let your reality take over and all of a sudden you live this normal life. You don't want to have a normal life. Why have a job and just be normal? Why have a company and just be average? I'm telling you, you should be on a mission to get to that next level. My coach told me what I needed to work on, and ladies and gentlemen, I had to up my game. I had to start working harder, right? I stole a key from a manager and I would go into the arena at midnight and work on my game, work on my left hand, work on my right hand. I got fundamentally sound. All of a sudden, I began to realize that I gotta get better. I'm not just good enough. And I began to confuse my potential with who I was at the time. That might be the biggest mistake that people make around the world. They confuse their potential with who I was at the time. People get hired based on their potential, but your work ethic is what's going to make you a vice president. Your work ethic is going to make sure that you become a CEO. Being fundamentally sound in marketing and selling and customer service, I became fundamentally sound and I made it to the NBA. And before I knew it, I got cut because I realized that all I wanted to do was to get there. I had no vision to be an impact player. Ladies and gentlemen, you got the job. But that's not enough. Don't relax. Don't settle. You got to get bigger, stronger, and faster. You got to get better. You got to make sure that your work ethic, getting that job is just the beginning. That's not the end. You want to live your dreams. You want to have your goals. You want to get to that next level, ladies and gentlemen. You want to take trips. You want to have a nice house. You want to have a nice car. You want to know powerful people so your kids can have access and their lives can be easier than yours. You are beginning a legacy, and your job is not just take your career to the next level. Your job is to take your family to the next level so your kids are better positioned than you were. All of a sudden, when my career ended, I had no money coming in. And I was starting over from scratch. But there was a difference. I knew what it took to be the best in the world. I sat down with the speaker, who was a Hall of Fame speaker, and I said, what do I need to do to become a Hall of Fame speaker like you? And at this breakfast, I did not have enough money to pay for it. And he told me what I needed to do to get to the next level, and I did it. So here I am. It's the Hall of Fame induction. And another speaker came up to me and said, you know what, aren't you excited? You're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I looked her in her eye and I said, you know what, miss, I am very excited. But this time, I expected to be here. This time, I knew exactly what it took to get to that next level. So when I go and speak, I'm all about the next level. When I coach executives, I'm all about the next level. You have to master fundamentals. You have to have a good vision. You have to make sure your mindset is right. You have to make sure you understand how to operate in a team. But most importantly, you have to be accountable. We live a world where people lack accountability. That's why my best-selling book, All But Stink, is so popular. It's how to live your best life and eliminate excuses. Because until any of us own our situation, until we become accountable, we are all crippled by our own excuses that we believe are real. All I want people to know is that they can get 10% better every single year. If we get 10% better every single year, in 5 years, we won't notice you. In 5 years, you won't notice your own bank account. You won't notice your own career. You will get bigger, stronger, and faster. You will get more effective. You will get promoted. You'll drive more revenue. But ladies and gentlemen, next level is about purpose. Next level is about understanding what it takes to get there. I'm on a mission because if I can get to that next level in 2 different industries, I know that I got a message for the whole world. And I have the information that I can teach to make sure that anyone can have that dream come true that they had in their 3rd grade class, that they had in their 4th grade class. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't quit. Don't take reality. I'm telling you, that dream that you had way back when can become true. And it can become your reality.
Work, eat, sleep, repeat. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. How many of us get stuck on that treadmill of life thinking, soon we'll start living a more meaningful life. Soon we'll shake up our daily routine. Soon we'll start something new. We'll start and think about those things, those important things we've always wanted to do, the things we always talk about. So who do you think you are when it comes to being on that path to finding the purpose unique to you? Are you cast away and shipwrecked? Sadly, far too many people fall into this category. These are people who are disillusioned, maybe depressed. Their hearts sinking as they walk into yet another day at the office or whatever place of work you're at. And the problem is that you're so entrenched in this mindset that you just accept what you've got. You stagnate and you stay where you are. You're doing what your education or your grades will allow you. You've got a good job maybe, but it's not fulfilling you. It's paying the bills, but you don't think about clarity or purpose. It's not necessarily the case that these people don't think about what's meaningful to them ever. It's just more likely that they assume that what they've got, the job, the commute, the habit of going home to sit in front of the TV, is what's meaningful to them. They don't really push their boundaries. Instead of the attitude of, let me make my best, they just make the best of what they've got.
So the reality is that the whole point of all of this is to find that door amongst the other 999 doors that you're going to leave open, and you're going to shut all the other ones. It's more about the things you're going to not do than it is about the thing that you're going to do.
If you're not willing to make changes, the sad truth is they're going to continue to be unhappy and unfulfilled. But right now, you're wasting it by falling into bad habits. And you get stuck in this daily, weekly, monthly routine.
It's been a tough year, man. In the last 10 months, both my granddads died. In dealing with the grief of losing these really important people in my life, I come to one proper important conclusion. How lucky I am to be alive. When I think about them and how they were literally just there, like yesterday. Yesterday I could have seen them, touched them, cuddled them, and the next day, boom, gone. In the blink of an eye, at the click of a finger. Have you ever lost someone? Like, do you guys actually have any idea how lucky you are? Seriously, put this into perspective. Everywhere you look, there are people just moaning and forgetting and taking for granted that they are alive. Oh man, I hate my job. The weather is terrible, I'm sick of it. I wish I didn't have to travel as much. Blah, blah, blah. You're alive, man. Wake up. Whenever you find yourself moaning about life, do what losing my granddads has taught me to do. And quickly and aggressively remind yourself that you are alive. And always, always end up smiling. Because you could be dead.
I think the late, great Michael Jackson said it best. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to make that change. See, a strange thing happens when you realize that you're driving in the wrong lane. That's when you have to self-assess, hit reset or refresh, and make the choice to revise and rearrange. See, sometimes it's hard to see clearly when you're looking through the wrong lens and wearing the wrong frame. The pain, shame, and stain of failure can be crippling at times. And the rippling effects are hard to overcome when you feel like everyone expects you to be at your best at all times. That's entirely too much pressure, my friend. And too much pressure can lead to you being a lesser version of your usual phenomenal self. So I'm personally granting you permission to relax. Eliminate all worries and doubts. Take a moment to reboot, replant seeds of success, and prepare them to sprout. I get it. Your classes are overwhelming this semester. Test after test after test. And as of right now, your grades are a mess, which is the exact reason for all of your struggle, strife, and stress. But if you're in ear's reach of my voice, you're about to be blessed. This is the moment the old you meets the new you. Because I know someone who went through and overcame the exact same issue, but didn't need a tissue because this person made the choice to human up. And that's exactly what you are about to do. Break it down and add just a little more effort. Add just a little more planning. Add just a little more focus. Add just a little more time management. Add just a little more patience. Add just a little more studying. Add just a little more listening. Add just a little more discipline. She started with the woman in the mirror and asked herself, why is she struggling with her classes? She was brutally honest with herself. The answer was, she wasn't giving each class enough study time. And at that very moment, everything changed. Because she decided to make studying one of her top priorities in life and set her butt down. She pulled out a calendar and wrote, W-R-O-T-E, down how much time she would spend studying for each class each day. See, if you're struggling in your classes and you don't have a written down plan for the least amount of time you will spend studying and preparing for each class, you stop this video right now. Go get you a pencil and a planner and map a study course for your success out right now. You can come back to this exact point when you're finished. Because once you write it down, it becomes real. And that's just the beginning. Because see, my friend said writing it down was the easy part. She said the execution and follow through is what will test your heart. And when the real work starts. She said it wasn't easy. And there were times that she got off schedule. But because she had a written down course of action and she consistently followed her schedule, it really worked. Because she went from being on the brink of failing all of her classes at the midpoint of the semester to passing all of her classes with honors. So what you gonna do, bro? What you gonna do, sis? Success is yours for the taking. And if I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to pass every class. If I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to never again finish last. If I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to never be broken like glass. If I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to always be driven and never crash. This is your dream, not mine. And you said your goal was to pass every class. You said your goal was to never again finish last. You said your goal was to never be broken like glass. You said your goal was to always be driven and never ever crash. So all excuses, you throw them in the trash because it's your time to blow up and blast off, because never again will you be a cast off, because the old you is gone. You took the mask off. The sirens of panic all stopped. You turned the flash off.
As C.S. Lewis said, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. People look at their past to decide who they are. People look at their past to decide who they can be. But the problem is, oftentimes, people mistake difficulties, suffering, pain for being bad, being less than, being broken, and it erodes their sense of self-esteem. It erodes their sense of self-worth. But nothing could be more opposite from the truth, because in reality, no matter what you've gone through, no matter how hard it was, all of it was shaping you into the person that you can become. The hardships, the difficulties, the pain, the suffering, all of that makes you tougher. It is literally in the difficulties that you begin to find just how much you're capable of. It's in the suffering that you find out how resilient you are. It's in the pain that you can rise up and get tough. And all of that is going to serve you as you move forward, but you have to know how to frame it. You have to know how to think about it. You have to know that whatever you've been through, that all of it is an opportunity to learn. All of it is an opportunity to grow. All of it is an opportunity to get better, but you have to use it to shape yourself. You have to lean into it. You have to know that the pain and the suffering, all of it is serving you. But if you're telling yourself a story that diminishes you, if you're telling yourself a story that bad things have happened to me, or I've done bad things and that makes me a bad person, then none of it is going to help you. And you're always going to move backwards. And it's going to be this stress and this pressure that's pushing you backwards. Instead, if you could put it behind you, said it pushes you forward, it propels you to be more, then no matter what's happened to you, you can become something truly extraordinary. And as David Livingstone said, I'll go anywhere, provided it be forward. So even when you're making mistakes, even when you're falling down, if in that you can see that it's an opportunity, it's a lesson, it's something that you've learned, even when you're running and you stumble and you trip and you scrape yourself all across the pavement, you're still moving forward. As long as you get back up, dust yourself off and keep going. It doesn't matter that you fell. It doesn't matter that you embarrassed yourself. It doesn't matter that you made a mistake or that you look stupid. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is how do you think about it? Do you let it be something that moves you backwards? Or do you recognize at least it was momentum, at least you were going, at least you tried, at least you were putting your energy into something, at least you were willing to take a risk? And that's where most people fail. They're never willing to put themselves out there because they don't see the momentum, they don't see the forward movement, they only see the failure. It really is that easy, and I know that you've heard this 1,000 times, and I know that people are telling you all the time that failure is a part of the learning process. But so is the voice that says you're a fuck up. So is the voice that tells you that you're unworthy. But it's up to you to decide to ignore that voice. It's up to you to prove that voice wrong. It's up to you to love yourself. And yes, I know that's easier said than done. And yes, I know each and every one of us has to do things to be worthy of loving ourselves. We have to take that leap of faith. We have to be willing to look at our inadequacies. We have to be willing to get up and do ourselves a service. We have to be willing to serve ourselves. And you do owe yourself that. And you do have to take action. And you do have to be proactive. But if you do that, you don't need extraordinary accomplishments. You just need to know that you're trying. You need to know that when you fall, you're going to get back up. You need to know that you'll keep pushing forward. You need to know that you won't give up, even if you've given up in the past. And once you know that about yourself, once you know that every day is a day, an opportunity to reinvent yourself, that's all you need to believe in. That's all you need to build that self-worth, is to tell yourself you're going to do something better today than you did yesterday. That's it. It doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need to be extraordinary. It simply needs to be a commitment to yourself. If you commit to yourself, if you commit to love yourself, despite everything that's happened to you, despite everything you've done, your life can be beautiful. But it starts with a decision to move forward.
And what the masters realize is that they make a point of spending time working on things that are essential, that are meaningful to them. And that could be hobbies, relationships, projects, charity work, businesses. These are the people that they really maximize their potential. And they strive every day to be the best they can. And they take the unexpected problems in their stride. They're winning at life. And they're not these magical superheroes with luck or powers or genetics that's just been handed to them. They're definitely human, but they just have certain habits, certain qualities that many people don't.
So step one is to find something you actually want to do and don't settle. As Les Brown would say, the hard times ain't come to stay, they have come to pass. You ain't dead, but you are gonna die. So go and live.
There's always potential for people to grow and change. And you just know if you push yourself a bit more, a bit harder, you could become this better version of you.
I'm sorry, Major. What was your name?
Benny. Nobody cares.
Meow. Oh, come on. Okay, pal, I want to basically look like a cat saved the planet.
No, but thank you for asking.
Uh-oh.
Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.